Good evening, everybody. Happy Easter. This is this Xbox Life episode 381, title, colon, subtitle. I am one of your hosts, Brun BJ Swick 33, and with me is Wingman 709
Hey everybody, how you doing?
and Rob.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
I guess I
This
should
is
have said
Presar. Yes.
Presar since I said Wingman 7. Yeah, I always do that to you guys. I know I've been doing that my entire life.
One of these days, you'll learn this podcast stuff.
Yeah, I know. What can I say? So.
I've legally changed my name to Wing.
All right. Well, this is, like I said, episode 381. We stream live on Twitch every Sunday at between 10 and 10:15 Eastern. And then we take the episode and release it into MP3 format the following day or 2 days, depending on how the audio and everything goes. But it's been pretty quick, Rob. The last couple weeks, you've been right on it. People have been listening midday Monday. So,
Yeah, that's right, because we've had some pretty successful weeks.
yeah.
Oh,
No real issues.
oh my gosh. How could you say that right at the start? Now we're doomed to fail.
Oh,
Well, when my PC crashes, you guys just know, go on without me. I will not go back in because it's happened now. Thanks, Rob.
it's all Rob's fault, everybody.
Yup. Rob's to
they're-
blame for my PC crash.
Yeah, your guys' PC problems are all my fault. Sure.
I like that.
Yeah. So, pretty, based on our notes that we have here, pretty light show this week. I think most places were back on vacation. It seems like anytime a holiday's coming up, every thing kind of shuts down. But we're gonna have a show and have some fun while we do it. So, but
Let's do it.
what have we been playing? Who wants to go first? Rob?
I'll go first.
There you go.
So did some more Rocket League. Also, Trackmania. Played the beta for a little while, which is really strange because the beta came out like 8 hours before the
You mean the
full
free
version.
trial?
I
It
thought
was-
it was the beta.
It was a trial. There's a trial.
Oh, maybe that's what it was then.
But and
So-
you can earn achievements. Trial.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Too bad the game is the way that it is. I was not too happy with it, but it's still on my hard drive. It might be deleted. I don't know. But so there's that. I want to say it does look cool. It kind of reminds me of like a cool racing game. I just didn't like it at all. There was something about it. Then I went back to Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, finished that one up. And then I went back to the original Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. And I can tell you that these games are a lot easier when you have one under your belt. It's now in the China one, I'm just tearing through there. Because the controls are pretty much the same, just the settings a little different. But it's also pretty good. It's I definitely enjoy this series, and I'll pick up Russia after I finish the China one. And I believe that is all, other than Clash Royale. Great game on mobile or tablets and such. If you're into that type of thing, give it a shot.
It's like the new Clash of Clans or whatever, but not like Clash of Clans. I mean, I know it's different, but it's from the same group,
yeah.
right?
It's the same group. It's the characters from Clash of,
Supercell or something like that.
yeah, Supercell. It's the characters from Clash of Clans, but it's a different type of game because it's card based. So you get cards, you level them up, and then you make decks of 8 cards, and you do one-on-one battles with people, which is essentially almost like a tower defense style game. But the cool thing about it is each battle is like 3 minutes long, if they even last that long.
Right.
And you can make some pretty good combos, and it gets tense. It gets tense, and there are some battles that, I mean, they came down to like fractions of a second. It's like I've got my fireball launching at the other side to destroy their tower, and it's like the countdown is like 1 second away, and then it's just like boom, it explodes, and the game's over. And It's a good game. I really enjoy it. I like it much better than Clash of Clans. So definitely give it a shot.
All
That's
right.
about it for me.
Mark, do you want to go next? Why am I being called a cheater? I'm reading the
Oh,
chat.
yes, we are being called cheaters.
Oh,
I don't care.
jeez.
So I played. I did play the Turbo Trackmania Turbo as well. I actually downloaded the trial. I because it was something that I kind of have seen and kind of was wondering about it. I'm glad, and I'm like, man, I hate that there's no demos. And I actually noticed in the game store there's a free trial. I was like, sweet, this one has a trial. So
You're really cutting out, dude.
there's nothing about it. You guys want me to leave?
No.
I don't know what to fix on the
Try hitting bypass.
then what's the point?
At
It'll
least for the
fix it
show.
for now. Yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, much better.
Okay, now you're gonna hear every nook and cranny. Okay. That was a waste of money. All right. So, anyways, I bought Trackmania Turbo, or I'm sorry, I was looking at Trackmania Turbo, something I had my eye on, but I really wanted to demo it. I hated that, the demos are gone.
Yeah.
And turns out that this game does have a free trial. When you go into the game store and look at it, when you click on it, it actually there's another tab, I think one or two over from the purchase that says free trial. So I tried it, I started playing it, and the funny thing is I was popping achievements in the game even though I hadn't paid for it. It was a trial. So if you don't plan to buy the game and you want some free easy achievements, you can get free achievements off the trial version of Trackmania Turbo. So, anyways, I ended up buying it. And it was $40 because I was enjoying it, and that joy really kind of went out the window fairly quickly. There's like 200 tracks. I think I've only played let's see, about 32 tracks, and I'm already
Wow.
frustrated. I'm like really frustrated. The game reminds me of Trials.
Yep.
But for cars on tracks. And what I don't like, it is fun and the tracks are really cool. I really enjoy them. But what frustrates me about this game is like the controls are so sensitive. You barely, it's like almost impossible to control your car. For me, I find it extremely hard to control the cars.
Around
And
the
then,
turns, especially.
oh, and especially when you're on dirt.
Yeah. Oh,
It's just like it's like you're on ice. It's just the thing just slides everywhere, and you can barely, and it's like you barely touch your stick, and your car's like, it either slides or it does like a 90-degree arc. It's like I can't. It needs a better control scheme, and now that I've played enough of it, I really, honestly, I got to tell people, don't buy it. My opinion is it's not worth the $40 at all. If it was less than $20, then I would say the game was probably worth it. But it is by far, in my opinion, not worth $40, and it is a frustrating game. I read a review about it, and it got a much better review than I would ever get it. But then again, the same company gave the Division a 6.7, so and a game that easily is a 9. I mean, so I should know better than to look at that for. But again, this was a game I had no idea. The trial for the little time you get, I'm like, yeah, this is fun, and then you start advancing and find out it sucks really quick. So that's my thoughts on Trackmania Turbo. Gosh, I can't even say it. Trackmania Turbo. All right. And then I also played, obviously, as some people have pointed out, I have 103 hours in the Division. I kind of like it, you might say.
just a little bit.
I reached a milestone today. I have 1K'd the game. So I have completed every achievement in this game. And yes, Carbide is calling us, Brun, cheaters, because I was down to the last 2 achievements today. And it was extract from every extraction zone in the dark zone. And the other one was kill 20 rogue agents. And I'd only had 2 under my hat. And I'm just like, that's so far, I'm like, that's kind of been the toughest. And the thing about the rogue agents is like the other day, yesterday, I'd only had one rogue agent kill, and this guy was running with the group of us. So there was this other guy. He was real low. He's like a rank 6. He was a new guy in the dark zone. He was kind of trying to hang with us because we were all high ranked, and he wanted to, and that's cool. But he accidentally shot one of us in a boss fight. And he immediately stopped. He even did the emote to put his hands up. And we all knew this guy did not intend to hurt anybody. And I'm standing behind him and I'm like, I need the achievement. So I blew him away. I mean, and I felt
Nice.
bad. I'm like, and everybody in my group's like, dude, that's wrong. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't leave this one achievement sitting out there because I know I'm going to get all the extractions. I'm pretty close to having all the extraction zones. I just haven't got up into DZ6 yet. Or at least I thought I hadn't. But I'm like, so I did it, and then it's like I didn't like it, and I felt bad. And I'm like, this is not the way I like this game, and I don't like that. What I don't like about the Dark Zone is that now that they've made some changes and you don't take a big of a hit, people are just, to me, when it first started, before they did the patch, not a lot of people were going rogue, at least in my experience. I wasn't running into it. People working together, people getting loot. They just want to get out and have a good time. Now it seems like every time you go in there, you can't trust anybody now. I think it's what they wanted, but it really, it's like, takes kind of I don't know. It's anxiety riddled when you're in the dark zone. You're stressing out, which is kind of neat because you don't experience that in other games. Because you're like, oh, I got a gold, I got a high end piece, I got to get it out. Oh my gosh, there's other agents. What are they gonna do? And everybody gets in this like defensive mode, and you're like freaking out. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna take your gold item, and then they don't show up that often. So that's kind of neat to have that in one aspect. But then again, too many times I'm seeing you go up to loot and then boom, someone throws in a grenade and wipes everybody out, and you get these overpowered people that have put 400 hours into the game and they're maxed out and they're kicking everyone's butt. And then there's a manhunt because they've been rogues so long because they're just killing every player in the game. So then it's like it's not even fun anymore because you have these guys just annihilating everybody. I got killed several times. I don't have any gear. You can see when someone has loot because they got the yellow pack on their back. It's like I just came in and I have nothing and I get killed. I'm like, what was the point of it? I wasn't rogue. I don't have any gear. There was no point to kill me except to grief. And that's what I didn't was concerned about with the Dark Zone was that it could turn into an area of just griefing people. And it's not completely that way, but it seems like it's getting to be more and more that way. Now, as people are getting the better gear and they know they can probably stay alive, and you're getting these groups that just run around and that's all they're doing. They're trying to find people that they can wipe out or cause havoc. So I don't like that. It's not fun. That's not fun. But so anyways, so back to cheating. I'm like, I don't want to go on just rogue hunter hunts. I don't want to just, because then it's like, okay, I got to gear up and not pick up, anything and just focus on trying to kill these rogues. And when people go rogue, they're running. A lot of them will run if it's legit, they didn't mean to do it. They're going to run. And it's hard. Everybody runs at the same pace. So it's almost impossible to run them down. It's not that easy. So I talked to Braun. I saw Braun get on today, and I'm like, "Hey, Braun, I thought of an idea. Let's group up. Let's go find a corner of the dark zone. Let's buy a checkpoint. Let's go in, and then you leave the group. Okay. Now we're still next to each other, but we're not in a group. And so I shot him. I went rogue. He killed me, and he gets an agent kill. And we just kept doing that. So, and we're right by a checkpoint. So 30 seconds later, I spawn in, I come back in, he shoots me, I kill him, and I get, and we just did that for about, I don't know, it was maybe a half hour. Maybe it wasn't even that long, but we both got the 20 rogue agent kills. And now it's done. Now I don't have to and I like that because it sucks because it's the only achievement that I had to boost or to cheat at, if you will. All the others are legit, and it's like I wanted this one legit because this is the last one, but it's like I don't want to play I don't want to be dirty in it. And I hated that I had to kill a guy that didn't mean to go rogue. That really irritated me. And I think too often in this game, that's what you run into because people will run in, you're getting into a fight, all of a sudden you don't know if someone's behind you, you run into their fire, they hit you, they didn't intend to shoot you, but all of a sudden they're rogue. And it's like, I don't want to kill them or punish them or get into this fight with them over stupid, the way the game works. So it's done. Call me what you want. But yet, I will say this. Carbide may call me a cheater, but he asked me to help him. So, we'll take it as you want. So, oh, and we went in to extract, and it was kind of funny. So the last thing, so that after that, then Brun, we were running around in the dark zone with Brooklyn and Skull Crusher, and so I'm like, hey guys, let's run up and try to extract from all the zones. I'm like, I knew I had probably 5 of the 8, and I'm like, I know we got to go up in there, but I'm like, I think we could probably keep each other up. I've run with Brooklyn and Skull Crusher enough to know these guys are really good. They got some high end gear. I'm not a slacker either, and I'm like, I think we can do this. So we went up and we went into, I think we only went to DZ4, and it was like we extracted one time, right, Bron? And it popped. Yeah. I got the achievement. So I guess I have extracted in Dark Zone 5 and 6 and didn't know it because I tried to stay away from there. Somehow, either the achievement glitched and I lucked out, or because I know I've been up in that zone before, following other people and going, come on, guys, let's go back down to DZ1, and they're like, come on, you got to get good loot up here. So I must have extracted at the higher ends. I know I had a few, but I didn't know I was that close. So, but it was fun. I got the 1K. Now I can just focus on going into DZ, man. I'm at rank 37, trying to get to 50 so I can buy some more gear. The sniper rifle I want, I have to be rank 50 in a dark zone. So that's the one I'm going for. So, but that my sniper rifle is the only item that's not gold right now on my whole inventory. So that's pretty cool. I'm running serious high end.
Cool.
But enough of me and the division.
All right. Cool. All right, my turn. Now you can turn your bypass off while you're waiting. So then we won't hear everything.
How about this? I'll just mute.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, he sounds great.
Yeah, perfect. Well, it's funny, Carbide, because the thing is when Mark called me and he said he asked me to do that, he actually said, like, you're going to do this or you're not going to be on the show anymore. That's why I had to do the switching back and forth with him.
Oh my gosh!
Oh wait,
whatever, dude.
See,
whatever, dude. I can unmute as quickly as I can mute.
No.
I'm like, dude, if you don't want to do it, I even told him if you don't want to do it, because I know you're not an achievement hunter, and I'm not either, except for something like this. It's like, I said, I get it, no big deal. I said, but if you're interested, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And I even told him ahead of time, you're gonna lose some rank. I don't know how much rank will drop. Turned out we only dropped each of us dropped 1.5 levels of rank, which we made up super quick. Soon as you're done and you go play it, boom, you get it back that quick.
I was like 19.5 when I entered, and then when we were done, I was 17.5. So I guess I lost 2.
But then what? We played in the dark zone for what? 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, well, not even that. I don't even know how long
you were.
It was.
What, a 22?
I left a 22. Yes.
Yeah.
Now when you're that close into getting those achievements, when you're down to 2, it's just like do whatever you have to get those 2 in, type of thing. Because now, like, having that and like a majority of the achievements that I have left, I just have to go do all the collectibles and stuff. And that's a majority of mine. And once I do that, then I have like 10 named kills, which I'm at 60-something% or 73% of that, and then the extractions. So like I'll have this game 1K'd as well. So at least until the DLC comes and if they up the achievements there, but
we'll still get them. Now we're committed, Bron.
Right, exactly.
Once you hit the 1K, it's like Titanfall 2. I really almost don't want that game to come out because I have Titanfall 1 100%. It means it's like I automatically have to do the sequel, and I felt that way with Borderlands. I did it to Borderlands 1, so I had to 1K Borderlands 2, and I had to get 100% of all the DLC, and then the next one came out, and the game sucked so bad, I finally said, forget it. I'm not, but I felt like I got to get 100% of, the what was it, the pre-sequel or whatever, and I hated that game so bad, so I never did it. But yeah, I think that's what I'm worried about. It's like, ah, crap. Now that I'm at 1K, all DLC, I'm gonna have to complete it.
Right. So,
So,
but
oh,
yeah,
but again, with the, I wanted to say too, you were talking about how you went down. We both figured we're lost about the same,
right.
roughly, but I would recommend people do it earlier rather than later. If you want to just knock that out and you just want to boost that achievement and be done with it, I would recommend doing it earlier rather than later because you rank up a lot quicker the lower ranked that you are. You can make that up really fast. Where Braun made up and exceeded, he went from what'd you say, a 15 to a 22?
17 to 22.
A 17 to a 22 in the same time frame he did that. I went from a 35 back to a 37. So I only went up two, where he went up like 5 or 6 ranks. So, it didn't matter. It almost didn't matter to him that he lost it because he gained it that quick. Where after the same amount of time, I was back to where I was. So the higher you are, it's probably going to take you a lot longer to get there. But if you're well past rank 50, then it doesn't matter because the highest, you have to just be rank 50 or higher to buy the gear. So if you're at a rank 70, it doesn't even matter if you lose 10 ranks. You're not losing anything,
Right.
at
Right.
least at this point. So, but yeah, if you do it, go boost it in an earlier rank. You're gonna make it up, and it's not even gonna be noticeable. So,
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go do the dailies. I didn't do the dailies after 8 o'clock tonight. I might have to go back and hop on at like 7 p.m. tomorrow, run the dailies, and then run the dailies again after 8 to catch back up. So gotta
hit
get
me up,
those
man.
gotta get those Phoenix credits.
Oh
So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
I got
So,
three spots left to get high end, and then I'll have everything will be high end as well, except for all the attachments and stuff.
oh yeah, I started buying attachments today. I bought a blueprint for a high end magazine and a high end scope.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
one of my weapons is not only is it high end, every attachment except one is high end.
Yeah.
I need a high end grip blueprint,
Yeah.
and then I can make that.
Yeah, the
So,
first blueprint I bought was the Black Market AKA because I know a lot of people run with that or have been running with that. So I know it's just like, well, I don't want to buy one and just be stuck with that one. I want to be able to just keep pumping them out if I can. So that's why I went ahead and got the blueprint. I love the idea of blueprints, just being able to build them.
yeah.
But yeah. So, the division. I played the division this week. Really just worked on dailies, worked on challenges, or a couple challenge modes to get a couple guaranteed high end. I will say that the Russian consulate on challenging is ridiculous. Um, Not my favorite thing to do at all. But the what is it? Tunnel. The tunnel is the one that's to me is like the easiest one to do. So Lincoln Tunnel, I think, over on the far left hand side, like you can actually skip one whole part of it and just continue past if you just run to the right, and then beat that one was pretty easy. So
For the challenging,
yeah, for the challenging,
yeah,
yeah,
Lincoln Tunnel is definitely do. I've done. In fact, I ran that after you left. We did that again today, and I got another 30. Um, if you want to do a hard one, Carbide pointed me out to the Police Academy. You can launch that one on hard. And then where you walk up to where it says, basically points you to go into a building, you actually turn around and you put the expendable shield like right up against the door. And then you go into cover and then you kind of walk through the door. And then, once you're in that room, you walk back a room or two, kick off the echo there, and you walk back to that door you were at and touch, want do something on the little computer, and then it basically kicks off the boss fight outside that door. So you can skip the entire level and just go straight to the boss, and you can farm anywhere from 2 to 3 Phoenix credits every, I don't know, 10 minutes probably. I mean, it still takes a while because you got the first part, you got to listen to the freaking dudes talking, and then you got to do but it maybe 10 minutes to do that battle on hard, and then you get 3 credits. So it's actually faster than going into the dark zone and trying to find a boss.
Right.
Because I don't know how many times I walked into where a boss should be and then they're not there because some other group just cleared them out. And that's frustrating too about the Dark Zone. It's for all the things I like about it, there's equally about as many things I don't like. But
Yeah. But yeah, so did a division, played some Battlefield 4, not as much as I wanted to this weekend because it was double XP weekend. Played some Rocket League. I got the back car. Played with Brentley for FNL. By the way, most people picked FNL, but we were the only two there. So
yeah,
we
so
jumped
so much for the Facebook polls.
so we jumped
You
over.
can't vote if you don't show up.
Yeah, so we jumped over and played a couple rounds of Battlefield. Um, the one thing in Rocket League is I went from Prospect 3 up to the first gold level on rank. So I was pretty happy about that. Um, and then I also played some of that Trackmania Turbo, which to me was trials with cars. I think I have a gold medal in every. I know I gold medaled the first 10, and I think I'm into the next 3 in the second group of 10, and I've gold medaled every one of those, I think. So, um, that's the thing with me in those games. It's like I just keep doing it until I gold medal, so it takes me forever to beat them. But it was just something to like, oh, I got like 10, 15 minutes. Let me just burn through a couple of these. But I'll probably go back to Rocket League there. Um, but yeah, that's all for that. Let's see some general announcements before we get to roundtable. Of course, patreon.com/this Xbox Life if you'd like to become a patron. Or if you'd like to send some single donations, you can go to twitchalerts.com/donate/this Xbox Life. So we have a couple things in this, a couple topics, I guess. They're more maybe like quick discussions, if you want to call it.
Oh, I'm going to inject one real quick before we get started.
Okay.
I forgot to add it in there, and then I got talking about the division. So the first thing, it's still on that division link, but I wanted to talk to you guys real quick about predictions for E3 because there's been some things that have Phil Spencer and Mike Ibarra have both tweeted out about talking about E3 and their the plans that they've been doing. So Phil Spencer said, "Great E3 review today. Teams did a great job highlighting what they have coming. Inspiring team." And then Mikey Barra said, "What a crazy week. Excited about the future." And then one of the things they talked about as well was that Mikey Barras teased that the last year that the studio is working on I'm sorry. He said last year that they were working on 2 to 3 features of the same game-changing level as backwards compatibility was last year. So when backwards compatibility was announced in last E3, I mean that was big. Even all the anti-Microsoft game sites said that was huge. Now the word is that there's 2 to 3 things as exciting or as game-changing as that was planned for this E3. So do you guys think
game sharing
game sharing would be friggin' huge?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my question.
Families and friends or whatever they called it. It was like up to 10 people or something when they were first initially talking about it, and I was just like, that'd be perfect, and because some of those things, like I think with the game sharing that we might bump into is it might be like, well, only one person can play it at a time, so it's not what we have the game sharing or the system sharing between each, two people now, but at least if it's a game that I'm not playing, then somebody else could play it. So, but we'll see. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
No, that's what I'm looking for. So okay. So my question to you guys is, do you think that now this was said a long time ago. This was back when that original statement was made. Um, so do you think that does that hold water? Do you guys really think that they've got 2 to 3 major announcements that they're going to be able to uncover at E3? Or do you think it's just hype because they know Sony's going to come out huge with the Sony VR and Microsoft doesn't really have an answer to it? VR is huge this year with Was it Steam's got it? Sony's got it. Oculus Rift is out, and there's what the Gear VR. So all these people are releasing VR, and Xbox doesn't have that. And we know Hololens is out there, but it just it's not consumer based yet. So do you think that maybe this is just trying to come up with stuff because they don't have an answer to VR? Or do you think there really is something out there? And then what do you guys think? So, Brian, you said game sharing, which
All
I,
right.
I think would be like drop the mic type of thing. If Sony doesn't have that, and we come out and say, yeah, by the way, you could always do it with one friend, but now you can do it with 10 or whatever. Boom, drop the mic and walk away. You just won. I
Yeah.
think regardless of what anybody else could do, if no one else has game sharing and you do it, wow.
Yeah.
But what else?
I
What do you
mean,
guys think?
yeah, it's just weird because while everybody else is concentrating on a gimmick, Microsoft is coming out and concentrating on gaming. So, Sony and all those guys can concentrate on, the next, 10-minute thing to do, which is VR. I love this. I love saying it this way because I love how it kind of works people up sometimes. I'm kind of being like over the thing, but no, like with Sony doing PlayStation VR, I know VR is like a huge thing, and it should be. I mean, it could be game changing. But I don't have $1,000 to go do anything VR. And I mean, I know PlayStation VR is coming in at the $400 to $500 range based on the extra components that you may need if you have a PlayStation.
You do need them. You That's the thing. So what
Well, if you
the
haven't already owned them, that's what I mean. If you have a
well,
PlayStation and already have some
you
controllers,
already have what Move,
Move
then
controllers,
yeah,
and
all
the
you need to
camera.
do is buy the $400 headset. But if
Yeah,
you don't own that, then it's a $500 set.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and what Oculus is 600,
Oculus
and
is
I
6 and Vive is
Yeah,
8.
something like that.
Yeah,
Ooh, 8. Wow.
yeah. Well,
And
Vive
for
Vive is
Oculus,
yeah Vive is
Oculus, you
good.
need almost like a what $1,500 PC to run it.
It depends. You can run to see if your machine can run it now. Vive
I
has a
thought they were
lot.
saying that the Oculus needed like a $3,000 machine.
No,
The last I heard, they were like, "What's out there on the market today is barely going to run it."
I saw somebody that just posted they have an i5 and they have I think a GTX 980 graphics card. It's like what a
Yeah.
340 graphics card or whatever. I mean, if you're an enthusiast already, then you're gonna have the machine for it.
True.
But and then the Vive is actually a little bit more, but the Vive to me is the one where it's really hitting that three-dimensional space. Like they want you to get up and move around, and that's why they have those extra a lot of extra cameras. I think they have like a full 360 camera setup. I'm not 100% sure on that. Where Oculus is like couch based, and VR is couch based slash some movement. That's why I believe you need the camera. But while a lot of groups are working on that, what 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 are other gamers supposed to do? To me, PC gamers obviously have plenty of PC games to play without having to worry about VR. But with Sony going all in on this VR stuff, which is cool. I'm not blasting them for all going all in. What's everybody else supposed to do? What it's like saying Xbox only working on Connect titles and saying like here's this Connect, go buy one, and by the way all of our studios are working on Connect titles. Well, what's everybody else supposed to do? It's just that's the way I'm thinking, and that's where I think where Microsoft's coming in and they're doing stuff for the gamers. And a lot of it may seem like, oh, they're trying to catch up and they're trying to do this and try to do that, but I don't think they are. I think they're trying to go back to their original vision that when they announced the Xbox One. Um,
Yeah,
so
all the VR stuff that is dropping and is going to drop later on this year after, and such. It's all very cool, and some of the stuff is just downright amazing in terms of the capabilities and the visuals and immersing you in the environment. It's the way that things are going to go. However, you know, companies are just putting so much money and so much time into this thing. How much is it really going to net them? initially, at least in
Right.
2016. So you've got Sony who's putting in this the PlayStation VR, Sony VR, what's it called? I forgot. The
It's
Sony
it's
one.
it's PlayStation VR.
PlayStation VR?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they're doing PlayStation VR. The majority of people were balking at the price of the Xbox One when it was $499 for a console.
Right.
And here's an accessory that is just so expensive. I know the Kinect, that 150 when it came out, that was like what the top selling accessory for consoles ever or something, just in terms of how many were sold and then immediately started collecting dust.
Yeah.
But all of this VR stuff, as cool as it is for the majority of people, 99% of the people I know, probably for us and the majority of our listeners, hearing about all the stuff and even experiencing it it's like going to an exotic car show. All right. You see all these amazing Ferraris, Zondas, and who knows what kind of vehicles out there. Just beautiful. You want it, but you're not going to get it. You're not going to have that experience
Right.
just because it's out of reach for one reason or another. Like I said, I know there's people out there, they're going to drop the money for the VR headset. How many games are they going to play? Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I already have friends have pre-ordered them, and I'm definitely going to go over to their house
Sure.
when I have a chance and play it because I'm excited to see it. I'm not excited to jump out there and buy it because for one, I tend not to buy the first version of anything
Sure.
hardware
Right,
related. You know, it's just like I've
Mhm.
I've been burnt before, so I kind of learned.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but the thing is like there's a couple things that kind of bug me about the VR stuff, and definitely when it comes to the PlayStation VR, and one of them is like also the rumors about the PlayStation 4.5. It's supposed to have better
Sure.
processor and better graphics, and to be better for PlayStation VR. So
Okay.
if
I could see them doing that.
yeah, so I mean the one thing is if they're going to say, oh, the games play good, hopefully all games work on both consoles, or else they're just dumping on everybody who we have 40 million people and we're going to trash 40 million people because if you have PlayStation VR you're only going to get the real experience if you go buy another PlayStation. That would be a huge mistake, and I don't think they're going to do
That's
that.
how you double your sales.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that though. I mean I think it'll be more like medium scale graphics, high scale graphics, maybe something like that. But that's one thing that bugs me about it. Now, Microsoft said they were partnering with Oculus Rift. What, last E3 or two E3s ago? But they said really what it is, it's going to be more like the streaming. Like how you stream to the PC, you can stream to Oculus Rift, so you can put your Oculus Rift on and play a game. And it was almost like
Using your Xbox controller.
yeah,
Wasn't that it? Like,
yeah. But it was like
Well,
that controller
That
with
yeah, it was the partnership. I think was that an Xbox One controller ships with the headset.
right,
I don't believe or I don't recall any discussion that you could use Oculus with Xbox. However, what if? And Smarter Martyr brought this up in the chat. What if that is the bomb? Okay, we know Sony's got it. We mentioned all the other companies who got it. Oculus is shipping. Okay, they've already started to ship. In fact, I saw an article today or yesterday that whoever did the first pre-order, some dude in Alaska, that somebody from the Oculus actually went up and hand gave it to him, flew up there with it and gave it to him in person. So these things are shipping. What if come June they come out and they say, oh, by the way, that Oculus Rift thing that's out there, yeah, works on Xbox. Because if and think about it, if they stayed out of it and said we're not going to invest in it, but we're going to go with something like going to partner with someone else like Oculus, who's got all this money to dive into it, and they partner with it. Yeah, I mean, right now it's as far as we know, you can use their controller. It's synced, they're using that, and maybe that's all there is. But if there's some big wow moment, then all of a sudden the Xbox not went from not having any VR to boom, you can run the Oculus on it today. You can hook it up. It works. Use the same controller. It'll connect. And I thought, well, maybe it's not powerful enough. But if the PlayStation is powerful enough, they're practically identical. Okay, the PS4 and the Xbox One are practically identical, and that
Depends on who you ask, though.
it depends on who you ask.
Which
What's the difference?
fanboy?
The difference is faster RAM on the PS4. That's it. I mean, they're basically both
Yeah.
PCs. They're almost identical. Okay, so
Well,
if you can run VR on a PlayStation 4, you should be able to do it on the Xbox One.
so you
Yeah.
bring up an interesting point because for the majority of people that are running the Oculus, it's going to run on a Windows PC.
Exactly.
And what is an Xbox?
It is a Windows 10 based PC.
Pretty
Also,
much.
to go further, oh, well, okay, well, the Xbox One isn't powerful enough to run it. Only the PlayStation 4 is. Okay. Have you heard of Azure? I mean, we talked about this Crackdown demo where it tags on to all these other servers in the cloud as your world is, getting this massive destruction. Why can't they stream the content to you? What was it on live and that company Sony bought that I can't remember the name of it. I know what it is, but it was a streaming, where you play the game on a server essentially, and you're just streaming the results of what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't remember what that was called, but that company, but we got Azure, we got the cloud, you can stream it. And why not? Why wouldn't you be able to use Oculus then if you're just streaming it through and playing it in the cloud? That I think would be huge because all of a sudden Xbox One would be like, we had no plans, and then boom, oh, by the way, we have VR available today via Oculus Rift. So if you bought it for your PC, guess what? You can use it on your Xbox One as well. I mean, that would be mind blowing because everyone thinks at this point that Xbox doesn't have an answer. Everybody's thinking, oh, well, it's HoloLens. And HoloLens might get there, but it's different. It's alternate reality, right?
HoloLens is not an Xbox device. HoloLens is HoloLens. It may,
but it could be someday, and I think people are thinking that's what they're thinking.
It's self-contained though, isn't it? Like a PC on your Melon.
HoloLens is HoloLens. If they ever make an app or a game that would run on HoloLens, then that's completely up to them. But there's no, as far as I've ever seen, and they've never come out and say that HoloLens and Xbox will work together.
Well, I'm not expecting that at this point, but I think a lot of people are thinking that HoloLens eventually will come on Xbox, and that's where Microsoft is going. They're skipping the VR, they're going with AR instead. Okay, and maybe that is on the Xbox roadmap because again, our console essentially is a Windows 10 PC now. Yeah. It is a Windows 10 device. That's what it is now. And we're getting Universal Windows platform apps this year. So you're going to anything you can run on your Windows 10 that's a Universal Windows app will be able to run on the Xbox One. We know they're coming out with DVR, TV DVR functionality. We know all this stuff's coming. So I think that the whole Oculus thing would be a huge bomb drop. That is, I mean, boom, out. Yeah, we got game sharing with your friends. Boom, we got Oculus Rift support. Boom. I mean, oh my gosh, that would just be like, I think the video game world would implode.
Yeah.
It would implode with all the people trashing it, even with all that stuff.
Well, because there's a couple things like HoloLens may work with Xbox in the future or whatever, but HoloLens is going to be like a $1,400 device. It is going to be very expensive, and that's because
they're like $3,000, right?
It's the dev units, are $3,000, $4,000.
Oh, but prices will drop. I mean,
true, but
they will drop. I mean, they will over time. I mean, I think they were losing money on the Kinect when it first came out because it was so ahead of its time. Now it's like packed in.
I'm just trying to make sure that everybody that's listening or whatever knows that HoloLens is not Xbox's VR. We're not saying it is, and you guys aren't either. I know that, but I hear it all the time, and when I read it, and it's just like, PlayStation VR, take that, Xbox and your HoloLens, and I just want to put like HoloLens is not Xbox. It's like I don't know how to explain that a HoloLens is a augmented reality, device meant for all applications across everything.
Well,
architecture and science and
right,
schools
but
and
people make a connection. They look at it.
true.
I mean, you got to look at where we follow this closely.
Hmm.
Okay, the general public does not. So they see Microsoft as a headset, Sony has a headset,
Right.
Oculus has a headset. They think it's the same thing.
True. True. Yeah.
So it's natural for someone to say HoloLens is for the Xbox. I mean, I get how they make this connection, and they're completely opposite. That's not, yeah. As far
Right.
as we know, there's no intent to bring it to Xbox. They may,
Yeah. And
but
if
we
you
have no idea. But again, outside of those two things, I think those would be huge. I mean, oh my gosh, would I be in love with my console again?
yeah, if you go back last year and listen to our episodes, one of the episodes was Xbox does not need to go and build a VR. They just need to partner with an existing VR. So they don't have any of the cost on the hardware. They don't have any of the risk. You know,
Right.
the only thing they may lose is if they put one of their first party developers to make a game. I mean, that's their risk is making the game for it. But I'm 100% in agreement that they should team up with Oculus, and it's $600 now. Of course, what you're first going to hear, this is what you're going to hear, is, oh yeah, yours is $600, ours is $400, and it's going to be like, well, ours works on PC as well, and yours doesn't. You know what I mean? So it's like the buying an Oculus, it has a multitask as long as you, like you said, your PC can run it. Um, but yeah, I would agree that I think doing that would be the best. Now, I thought there was some sort of Oculus support coming through PC streaming. So like when you're streaming from your Xbox to your PC, which we have today, I thought that they were going to be able to use an Oculus Rift to basically make the Rift the screen. Like it's not VR, it's basically just the screen on your face, which is if you look at PlayStation VR, all PlayStation games are going to work with PlayStation VR. It's either going to make it look like you're sitting in a room in front of a huge TV screen playing the game, or it's a VR game. And I believe I'm right on that. So which it's
So,
funny because it was a stupid idea when Xbox was doing it with Oculus Rift, but it's a really cool idea now. So which I think it's a cool idea no matter what. But but
so what if the thing is you have integration because right now you can stream your Xbox to your Windows. And what if because if you have an Oculus hooked up to your PC and you're streaming your Xbox to your PC, boom, you can now see it through the Oculus?
that's what I thought was announced when they did the whole controller. They announced Oculus support. I thought that's what was announced.
Well, we'll have to dig on that one because I
Yeah.
just don't recall, but I'm trying to think of how it could come. But I think that would be a huge bomb if they come out because I don't, the thing I see is that this could, even though I think VR is a fad, I don't think a lot of people are going to be buying them because they are it's a lot, it's very expensive. It's like I think someone else in the chat here said, not only do you need the Move controllers, you also have to have the PlayStation Eye as well. They are required with that $400 headset. So if you don't own those are another $100+ I don't know what the cost is to get the controllers and the camera, but I remember I think it's at least $100 was from one article. So your minimum to get into that is $500 if you don't already own it. So you're not that far off from an Oculus, and again, but then the Oculus, you've got the PC to consider. So so if the Xbox has it, I think that'd be awesome. I love the idea of game sharing, and we've already heard them say that this was their original vision. So I'm hoping they drop it at E3, saying it's coming this year.
Mhm.
Rob, what do you think? What do you want to hear from Phil or anybody else at Xbox at E3 this year?
Okay, so the whole VR thing, that would definitely be cool, but expensive, out of reach for most people. Game sharing, definitely cool. I would not be surprised that any of the things that they originally promised with the Xbox would be the things that we would start seeing possibly. Again, which brings game sharing right up to the forefront of what I think might happen. Um, Besides that, in would it matter if they had original Xbox game sharing? Because we've got the 360 backwards compatibility. I mean, I said game sharing, didn't I? I meant backwards compatibility. What if you could play the original Project Dark? Oh wait, you
You know
can.
what?
And it sucks.
I read an article. Phil Spencer said that was something he wanted.
Yeah.
But they're got to work. I think that if it ever happens, it's going to be way down
Yeah, those
because they got to
games.
get through the 360 catalog
Yeah,
first.
but yeah, those original Xbox games, a lot of them are just not good
Digital
compared
game
to
rentals.
today's.
Digital game rentals.
Okay, one thing, and we talked about this last week. I would not be surprised to see something about the digital game trade-in, because we heard that they were doing the surveys about that. So I would not be surprised to hear some of that. That would be fairly easy for them to do, I would think. Just take a game away from you and drop a couple bucks in your
You turn it in, it
accounts.
automatically deletes it. It can save your game save. Your game save's separate. It's in the
Sure,
cloud.
right?
It deletes the title off of your console automatically. It just says in
Yeah.
saying delete it, and then they credit you the 10%. I mean, that's not hard to do.
I
No,
was
no.
listening I was listening to a show or another podcast, and they were wondering, somebody said, well, it's kind of, I don't want to say, they said it was kind of dumb, but it was kind of dumb, and I'm just sitting there going, don't say it's dumb when people do it with physical copies all the time.
Well, no, but you
And
know
it's
what?
just like,
It it is kind of dumb because this was going to be my other point was the thing is why would Microsoft do that?
okay, and that's what I'm getting ready to say.
They in retail in physical world, you give someone 10% of the retail cost, you get a disc and you resell it.
Okay.
You can't resell a digital copy. You,
Oh,
you can't
Sure you
you
can.
can't
yes, you
resell
can.
it.
Yes, you can. Okay, so here's the example. If I'm Walmart
Well,
and I buy 100 physical copies of Halo 5, right? And I have to buy them and I purchase them. So now I have to sell them, right? And that's where, like, if they sell them at a loss, they sell them at a loss, whatever. They probably sell them no matter what. And then in digital world, like say Steam or anything like that, they purchase a bank of 100 CD keys, right? And for a game, and they go and they sell those 100 keys. Well, after they're done with 100, they got to go buy 101, another key. They got to go buy another key. So they're paying the developer and purchasing this key. So if you buy back one of your keys for $6, and then you can resell that license, that key. Basically, you're buying back a license so you can sell a license. So if you buy 100 licenses of a game and you sell all 100 of them, your next license is going to be $60. But if you bought a license back for $6 and you resold that license, you just made money.
yeah, I mean, they could put it in their system so that anything that's sold went into a digital used game store,
Right.
and they just say, so I mean, every game is sitting there at a discounted price, and you would go into the used game store. But I don't think in a digital world that makes sense because we don't digital is not. I don't think you could have a $60 version of the Division and a $30 version of the Division both digital. Do
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I
It doesn't. For them to give you the money back, for Microsoft to give you 10%, that is dumb of them because how are they going to sell or make money off it? GameStop makes money off of
No, they're gonna
trade in your old stuff. I don't see how Microsoft can make any money off of that because now you have, oh, well, we've got Brun sold his copy, so we have one copy in the used game store.
Nope. So okay, here would be the example. You're the developer. I buy the game off of you, say $60, right? Or like say $30 is what I buy it from you at or whatever, and then I turn around, I sell it for 60, right? So there's $60, and then I buy it back for 6, and then I sell it for $60 again, right? Because it's digital. There's
You
no
can't sell it back. That doesn't.
but
I don't.
but if they take some of that $60 that they resold that game with, so instead of making $30, they're making $50, and they give 10 of that to the developer, the developers made 10 more bucks, off of a used game sale, and then Microsoft has made $10 off that used game sale.
Okay, so but in that theory, then what you're saying is the digital game store works exactly like retail, and I don't believe it does. I don't see it as it does. I see that Microsoft says, "Okay, Ubisoft, we're going to put the Division on our store. We're going to sell it for $60, and at the end of the month, hey, we sold this many copies. Here's your $30 per title."
Right.
I don't think they buy so many digital licenses. And I don't believe it works that way. And it could. I mean, I have no clue. I just wouldn't imagine. I don't imagine that the digital world works that way because like with XBLA when it was around, these guys would get their money after the fact.
Yeah.
Like I would imagine it because it's digital, it would work the same for AAA titles that it goes on the store and it sells and then you get your money afterwards. And I would imagine digital movies and TV and digital music, I don't think that iTunes is paying some music company for 1 million copies of an album and then they got to hope they sell those. No,
Yeah, who
I think
knows?
they sell it and then they give the money. Hey, here's how many sales you had. Here's your cut after the fact. So if that's how it works, then I don't think a digital used game store works because Microsoft would make no money. All they're going to do is you're going to delete it and they're going to give you $6 and hope that, but again, it's $6. It basically gives you a $6. They don't really lose. They're just taking $6 off of you buying something else digitally. So they don't necessarily lose,
Right.
but they don't make money off of it.
And the other thing is too is if like, and this is based on what I was saying. I was hearing the thing they were going over the buying banks of CD licenses of CD keys and stuff like that. If they did something like that and bought one from $6, no, there's no digital used game store where you're buying it for cheaper because the digital copy was used. No, when you buy a digital game, you're buying it for whatever it is on the store. If it's $60,
Right,
it's $60.
right.
They honestly they don't care what you're buying it for. You're buying it for whatever it is. To them, it would be for the ones they buy back if they can resell and make the money there. But the way I've heard is, if a digital resell, the developer isn't cut out of it. Where, the physical game
Right.
sales, the developer is cut out of it because
'Cause-
it's not a publisher. It's not it's a store buying the
Well, that's
game
because
back.
there's no resell.
Right.
There's no way to resell it. That's the whole thing. So yeah, it's Microsoft says, okay, all you're doing is Microsoft says, you're going to delete this off of we sold you something. We're going to delete it off. You no longer have the right to pay for it.
Yep.
We're going to give you $6 in your Microsoft wallet that you can use to buy your quote next $60 game or whatever you want.
Yep.
And eventually yeah. So they might, if you rent a movie for $6, well, then they get nothing off that rental. But if you buy another $60 digital title and it now costs you $54, okay, they got $54 out of you, and they only have to. So yeah, they didn't get. And if they pay the developer $30, they added their $30. They only got 24. They still made money. So yeah, it may be more of an encouragement to get you to continually buy more digital stuff.
Right.
But so I can see why like the dumb comment comes in because you cannot resell it. So it kind of doesn't make sense. The only way I can see it is like, yeah, Microsoft to encourage you to do this or buy more digitally and give you a discount on something else or your next purchase. But
Yeah, and to them, they may just see it as, hey, we're doing you a favor because everybody's complaint is you can't resell a physical copy. So they're giving
Right.
you the option to resell a physical copy. So just
yeah, if you want a few bucks, we'll throw you a few bucks, but we're gonna have to delete it off your console. Period. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and
Which
it might
is-
just be way, hey, it's a good faith, we're giving you what you want,
right.
and we're gonna take a cut, or we're gonna take a smaller profit on the next thing you buy because
Plus-
they're not handing you cash back, which
But-
is it doesn't cost them anything to do this.
Yeah, and plus you're getting
There's
more than
some
what
more-
GameStop would give you.
There's some more to it because there's also like psychological impacts to this and a couple of other things. So, does this work? First of all, GameStop, billions of dollars a year is their or I won't say their profit, but I think they made something like 6-7 billion a year in total revenue. But anyway, I know some of that is new games, but there's probably a good chunk of that that's used games.
Oh, I
So
bet you the majority is used.
yeah, so billions of dollars a year in this. Now, for the folks that, let's say, need this type of system, that the people that use GameStop and such, what do they typically do? They go in, they pick up a bunch of their old games. They go in and they get a couple quarters for them, essentially, just a fraction of their original value. And now they have something new to play, but also their old game library has gone away. Currently, what we do, I mean, I don't know about you, Bron, but I know Mark and I, we have at least 100 games in our
Yeah.
Xbox One digital library.
And we only play
At,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean,
The
at
division.
any point, like today, you could go back and you could play Sunset Overdrive. You could go back and play Max Curse of the Brotherhood. Any of those games, Rise, you could play it. But if you get to a point of where you've played out everything, you want to get some money back, you can cash in 10 of those, 20, whatever it is. But now you've reduced your gaming library to the point of, in the future, your choices are a lot more limited and you're more apt to go to purchase something new. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
I've got a ton of games that I have not finished. But if I traded in half of them, you know, my options are greatly reduced in what I'm going to play. There's got to be some kind of psychological aspect to this where they've analyzed this and they've said, hey, if we allow this, not only are we going to get revenue
Hmm.
for new titles, we're going to get revenue in the store because let's say you trade in 2 games and you get $12 back. Well, you're going to have to kick in another 40 or $50 to get a new title. And you're more apt to get that mindset of, hey, I've got $12 in my, Microsoft account. This new game that's $60, it's not going to cost me $60. It's going to cost me 48. That's much easier on the wallet. It's all that psychological stuff that we convince
Well,
ourselves of
well, I think the
when
big
we're
one
making
is,
purchases.
yeah, I think the psychological thing, the big one in my mind is like, hey, I got 10 games here that I haven't touched in 2.5 years. Oh, look, that equals $60, and there's this new Hitman game out that I want to play. Oh,
Right.
there's my Hitman game for free, in my
Right.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, yeah. So you're going to get people, let's say they weren't even going to buy anything, and they get that thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get Hitman. So Microsoft makes revenue. Who does Hitman? Is that Ubisoft?
No, that's
No.
Square Enix.
Yeah, Square Enix. So Square Enix gets their cut. And I don't know how Microsoft does stuff in the store. I imagine they would be just like everybody else, like Google with the Play Store or Apple with the Apple Store, where they get a sizable chunk of the digital sale. I don't know if it's 30% like the other guys, but
right.
it benefits them to get activity in that store. As people are purchasing things, that's what they want. They want you to go and purchase. And they're just helping you.
All right.
But anyway, there was that, and there was something else I was going to mention, and now I totally forgot what it was. Oh man, what the heck was it?
Well, I think
So
I think we burned this one into the ground. If you think
yeah,
about it, Rob, definitely chime back in because I like hearing we don't hear enough from you,
yeah.
and I like what you
Yeah.
have to say. That was some very valid, good points.
Thanks.
But we probably need to move on. So much for your
Yeah,
short show, Braun.
Yeah. Oh, no,
that's
no,
one
no. It's
topic for an hour.
So I want to bring up Tom Clancy's The Division. Yes, we've been talking a lot about it. So if you're like me, you're like, now what? I've 1K'd the game. I've hit level 30. Maybe I'm not rank 50 in the dark zone yet, but I'm close. So I've done all the missions. There's nothing left. What's next? So they're going to have two free updates here very soon. They're talking about incursions coming up in April, which is they're going to be that's the division's take on the raid. Um, so which, if you're wondering what a raid is, basically it's a longer, more challenging boss filled dungeon, if you will, that requires groups of people to coordinate to take it out. And usually there's puzzle, at least in like Destiny, there was puzzle aspects of, you can't just go in and beat up on a guy. There were certain things you had to do to make other events trigger so that you could progress. And so, but I forgot why I even put this in here. Um, the big okay, so they teased a big upcoming update that'll add new end game activities, and we really don't know what that is. So, um, Brun, what do you envision for a division styled raid? Because I know you've done raids in Destiny, and
Yep.
I don't know what other games you've done that might have done a raid to it. But how do you envision this coming into the Destiny world?
Well, I was there's a couple things that I was thinking about if I was going to do a raid in the division, and one would be what it would be more as like a territorial type of thing. So, um, a large skyscraper in New York City, let's say. The boss is at the top. You got to work your way up. And each certain set of floors or something else going on, or something like that. Or you know, you're heading over to the docks and there's an oil rig because everybody's seen like the oil rig on the thing where people kind of glitched through the fence and got through the area ahead of time. There's a big like oil tanker ship over there, so trying to get that back or something like that. So to me, it's got to be something that the division needs to take to help the city of New York or to help take things back. Um, so it would be something. It's like, hey, this is our life support. Like the harbor is our life support, but we can't. We have to take over the harbor, and it's like a multi-point type of thing. I think a skyscraper or like a very tall building would be an interesting one to do it that way. So that's kind of what I was thinking to see if they would do. Obviously, you don't want to make it just like the missions that we have now are anywhere from if you do it on challenging, you can usually beat one between 30, 45 minutes to an hour, I would say, based on your group and your equipment. But these ones here are going to take probably a few hours. Most likely we'll have checkpoints, multi-day play. I mean, sometimes you might put the controller down and come back later to play it. But I see it as something like that, taking something back. That's just not, you know, one of the small little missions. Like, oh, we're taking back the police department, police academy. This thing here is going to be like, we're taking back Central Park, something very big, where it's going to be something like that. But what about you?
I don't know. I think kind of what you said. Just I'm kind of in agreement. It's just going to be something that's going to take. Uh, I don't want like I'll tell you what. Like those that have tried to challenge the story missions on challenging, those are freaking hard. I don't want that. I definitely don't mind something that takes a good length of time. Um, I but I want something that's going to take maybe more than four people. I'd like to see somehow maybe we can get groups. If it's going to be really challenging, then and long, then give us maybe a bigger group than four people to tackle it. Allow multiple groups to go in and attack. What was it? Neverwinter Nights. You could end up with, same with Defiance. You could end up with, 50 people around the big boss trying to take it out. I mean, that was kind of cool. I don't know if the division could support something like that. Um, but I think that would be kind of cool. Destiny with their, all of a sudden a public event appeared Obviously, this is a different type of world, so that wouldn't happen. But um, yeah, I think something that you could get more than just your four people in to take on would be fun. I never really liked the Destiny raids. I felt they were just freaking impossible. It was just like I want what I like so far about the Division is that everybody can play it. It's like it's achievable. You can get some really good gear and you can play the game. You can play all the aspects of the game and not feel like you can't do anything. When I've gone into some raids on Destiny with people, it's like I can't even, I'm shooting these guys and it does nothing because I'm so low or I haven't ground out 500 hours worth of gear to have that one piece of equipment that, will only turn around and get nerfed in the next update. So that's what I really like about the Division is I feel like it's all, I mean, my gosh, I've 1K'd the thing. I've done everything in this game pretty much that there is to do. Now I'm just doing the dailies, having fun, helping other people. I'm jumping in, helping other people accomplish stuff. I'm still loving the game. And I want that easy access, if you will. It's not easy. There's time commitment. But I like that it's all can be done if you commit some time to it. It's not like, oh my gosh, I can never do this. Where I felt that way with Destiny. Like I'll never be able to there's raids I've never done just because I didn't put 500 hours into the game. And I put a lot of time into Destiny. And I still was never good enough with the right amount of gear because I didn't put enough time into it. And I'm like, my gosh, I think I've got like 170 hours in Destiny, something like that. Or I know it was well over 100 and it wasn't good enough.
And
It's just like that. That's
De-
just
Destiny's
that's
really Destiny's not really the time you put in it. It's if it's the right time that you put into it. It's the certain things that you had to do. But like
it's a grind. That one is a grind, and
there's
this
very
one
much grind in the
doesn't.
last one.
This one still doesn't feel like a big grind fest. You can. I think now that a lot of us that I play with we've leveled out, we're pretty much maxed out. We're just trying to farm the high end, but you want to get that for the next thing to come. I don't feel like got to go pick up your helium filaments and, I got to go to this planet to grind out this thing so I can build this. And it just feels everything in the division is easier to do. Like I've never had to go try to find something to build a blueprint. I got so much stuff because I'm just breaking everything down. I don't even sell anything. And maybe that's a fault of the game because I don't buy anything in their vendors because there's never anything in there that's any good. I have no need to get the cash. I got like over $1 million and I have no need to buy anything because there's nothing there better than what I have. So I break everything down and buy stuff with Phoenix credits, you know. But I just like the game because, I feel it's accessible to everyone and everybody can achieve what they want in it. And it's more of it's going to take some time to play to get all this stuff, but even once you've put some time in, you're able to play. You're able to hang in there, and maybe your buddies are going to keep you alive. But I've been with people that just are brand new to level 30, and they can't do a challenge. I get in with other people, and we carry each other along. We keep you picked up, or it's like they can do it. Where in a Destiny raid, it was just like I might as well leave. I'm hurting the team. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well,
I'm probably completely wrong. It's just the way it feels to me. And I like that accessibility.
Here's the thing. Like you have challenging mode and Russian consulate, right? Yesterday we tried to do it for like 45 minutes and couldn't get past the entrance of the building. I mean, It was practically impossible. Now I'm not saying that it can't be done because it can't. Because then we went over to tunnel. And we did tunnel, and it was easy. And I guess that's the daily challenge mode right now is the tunnel. So I guess I'm going to have to do that as well tomorrow because I got to get that guarantee stuff. But, with the raid or a raid in Destiny Division cannot just be another challenging mission. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, oh, we're going to throw level 32s at you. What it's got to be is something like, we're going to put you in this area, and we're going to keep pumping guys at you, right? We're going to pump these guys at you, and you can sit back and try to pick them off. Like you and say it's a team of 8, you and 8 guys can all line up in a line and be in cover, and you can shoot all day long at these guys that are coming out at you. And they'll just keep coming and coming and coming until you figure out why you're not getting past where you're at. Now,
That's what Destiny does.
well, that's exactly, because this is what a raid in my mind would be that,
Right.
oh, you know what? Hey, you four, how about you guys flank from the right, sneak up over here, and you take them out on this side, and guess what? That's the trigger that, kills the one guy who keeps calling in, people or something. You know what I mean? It's got to have some puzzle aspect to it where you can do it, but if you're doing it wrong, you're not going to beat it. Like, you have to figure out the way to do it right. When you're fighting, what's the Crota? When you're fighting Crota, Crota comes over. He goes in the middle. Everybody, you pick up you shoot the sword bearer down. You pick up the sword. You're running over everybody. Gallahorns him, takes him to his knee, and boom, 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 3 hits. You're out of there. You know what I mean? Like it's a like. Tell me if you were all just shooting Gallahorns at him, and not knowing, like, oh my gosh, we got to go get the sword, or he just kicks our butt. You know what I mean? It's just those neat.
Right.
But once you figure out the puzzle, then you just grind the raid and you just know what you're doing. But it's the fun part of a raid is figuring out how do I get through it. So there will
it'll
be those
fun,
times. Yeah, it'll be fun. And the thing,
Destiny was my first time with a raid.
Same
Really.
here. Same here.
Yeah,
It was really
Neverwinter
confusing.
was my second. Well, I don't know if that was a raid. That was like, oh, there's this dragon. All of a sudden, there's just tons of people. I wouldn't call that a raid because that's just like more of a public event. So
Right.
that wouldn't really count. So, yeah, that was my first raid. So I don't know what to expect. I think it would be cool. Something like that. I don't want it to just be, just make it challenging and a longer mission. No, have something to figure out. I think that would be cool, and it adds a new dynamic to the game. So I just don't want it to become like where it feels like it's impossible. Like right now, that the challenge is the only way we're getting around some of these is we're glitching some of them, or you're finding, oh, you can skip past all this by doing this, and that's not the best way to do it, but some of them are, and some of them I haven't been able to do. They're just so hard,
Right.
and you only got 4 people and they're all level 30s, and they're just not, it's like, what's it going to take to get these guys out? I don't want more of that.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think we're going to see some new stuff.
Right.
So far with what they've said for the DLC coming out, and I think the season pass is well worth the money from what they've said. I think they got free updates coming. I expect this to be something new, because the game so far has had a ton of content. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the thing about like skipping, like, the tunnel, when you're in the tunnel and you're coming up to that spot where the snipers are up top of the tunnel, and you sit there and you take the snipers out, and then you run to the next group. If you hang to the right and run right past all those guys, you get the next checkpoint. You don't have to stop and fight those wave of people. And the thing is like, yeah, it might not be the way that you're supposed to do it, but when you're playing an hour-long challenge mode, you will do what you can to get moving forward. So if they don't want you to be able to do that, well, guess what? They can patch a fix in. But until then, I'm running past those people because it's hard enough to beat it without having to deal with it. So
Mickey's saying you can do the Lexington Event Center in 7 minutes. So I'm like, we need to talk, Mickey. I need to know.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, but
all right.
And one thing is as I was reading chat, I've noticed a lot of these glitches, and to mine's really not a glitch. I mean, you can get killed running by all those people. You're not glitching through a door or whatever. Just know that if you're the person who went and did the Dark Zone and got 99 and you're level 30 and you did it all in like a week and a half, you now have to wait until the new content comes out, unless you're just going to go still out there and grind.
He's the one briefing people in the Dark Zone.
Yeah, well, not only that, it's like once you have every yellow and every high end and stuff like that, once you build out to where you want it, just know that's kind of when you kind of die down in the game that you've been playing so long, and you're kind of waiting for that content. So sometimes grinding and doing a bypass and going and just getting high-end drops every 7 minutes, and all of a sudden you've maxed out your guy, and it leaves you with nothing to do, you're going to be waiting for that content instead of just playing and playing and playing. You know, just to say that out there. Not to say that I probably won't do it once or twice, but yeah, just one of those things.
So here's a quick question.
Yep.
The high ends,
Yeah.
are they yellow or orange?
They're gold.
Okay. Rob, yellow, orange, or gold?
What game are we talking
The
about?
Division.
Oh, that one that we talked about for like half an hour already.
It's a real quick question because I'll explain why. What do
Yes.
you think the high ends are? Yellow, orange, or gold?
Gold.
Okay, so you both say gold. I say yellow.
Okay.
I sometimes I'll say gold. Ubisoft, I was reading a blog post of them. They were talking about these. They said they're orange.
All orange. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way this is orange. This is a yellow icon. That's a yellow icon. It's yellow. I'm like, where did they get orange?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny because I'm like, I'm not seeing any orange items in this game.
Yeah.
I see the white, which is the low end, the green, the blue, the purple, and the yellow.
Yeah.
Or gold. I sometimes I've said gold, sometimes I've said yellow, but regardless, it's yellow, not
Yeah,
orange.
Well,
But Ubisoft says they're orange.
Artemis and Cubicle both say orange. Yellowish orange. It to me, it's kind of a, yeah, just one.
Okay, well, that's cool.
That's why I said gold, because to me it's yellow with like an orangish tint. So
So
yeah.
Carbide Mickey say yellow. Yeah. Mosh Lion says gold. Smarter says yellow. Artemis says orange. Cubicle says orange. Now Carbide's changing his mind.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I just thought it was interesting. I was like, when I read that, I was like, orange. I was like, what are you talking about? There's no orange there. Anyways,
Carbide's Canadian. He doesn't know what color.
yeah. After crosses country lines of the filters.
What color is it?
With collar. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing I got for you guys. So I thought of this. Hitman. The game came out, right?
Yes.
Um.
Well, the initial
seen-
part of it.
Well, that's the thing. It's episodic. So like
Right.
the intro, the prologue, and the first mission are out. So the game is released. I haven't seen anybody play it. Now, if this was, and some people, if you bought it, you probably paid the $60 for it. And I find this interesting because I'm like, I haven't seen a single person play it. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. But if this was Hitman Absolution 2, it was a $60 full game released last week, I think a ton of people would have been playing it. So, and I got the article that I sent you guys. Does episodic structure hurt the franchise? Now, the article written saying basically, no, they think it helps. I actually think the otherwise because I have not seen anybody play this game. And I haven't heard anything about this game since it came out. And I'm surprised because this is a big franchise. So personally, I think the episodic piece hurt it because there's no way I would touch this game until it's like all of it is out. And by the time it all comes out, it's going to be like $30. So by the time the full game is available, you're probably going to be able to get it at half price instead of paying full price now and still not being able to pay it all until it's down in that, bargain bin price. So I think this is really dumb that they are doing this on a $60 game. I'm just curious what you guys thought. I mean,
I wouldn't buy the game. I mean, I wouldn't buy the game until there's more of the episodes out, for one. I mean, I like the way they did the pricing structure at the beginning. It's like, hey, if you want to do the initial part to see what it's all about, you pay $15, and then if you want the rest of it, you just pay the rest of the money. I think you end up paying $5 more that way. Or they say, well, if you just buy the game and everything with it, it's $60. I'm curious on how it will go because, like you said, if it's not going well and the DLC starts to slow down and then all of a sudden it's like that $60 game's now $35, then I'll get it when it's $35. I want to play it. It looks awesome.
yeah, but like right now you get your training missions, which they encourage you to replay because they're like, you can do it, kill him another way, kill the guy another, but you're playing the same thing, you're just doing it a different way. So then you get through the training, it's like you have one mission to do, and then so you're gonna have to just play that over and over and over and over until the second one comes out. And then, okay, I'll play this one over and over. And I can't play the same mission over and over and over. And whether I do it multiple ways, that to me is not going to give me enough enjoyment to plunk down $60 and then sitting. I mean, every month, stuff's coming out. I'm going to invest my time in something else. Division is consuming my time. Quantum Break's coming out soon.
Right.
And I will break away for that probably, but then boom, it'll be all the division again. I just can't. This just seems odd for a major franchise to do this, and I hope it fails because this is not something I want to see for AAA titles. I've tried the episodic gaming with Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us. I did the Borderlands one. I will, and you know what? I'm actually done. I know there's a new Walking Dead one coming out. I said I was done before, and then I'm like, well, at the Borderlands, I heard so much good stuff about it that I said, okay, I'll give it one more shot. I just didn't like it. This whole you do a part and it's like, oh, you're done. I'm ready to keep playing, and they're like, nope, come back in 2 months and we'll have the next little sliver for you. I don't like that. I want to play a game, spend my week or two, get into it, and then I move on to the next game. This coming back, and then by the time, and Rob, we've talked about it. I don't remember what I did 2 months ago. I don't remember the decisions I made. Who is this guy Ben? I don't know who he is. I don't remember. And that's just because I'm getting old. I can't remember anything. But I don't like episodic gaming, and to see a AAA title do this, if this is a success, then you're going to have other people going, hey, let's build part of a game, get all that money, and then we'll continue and work on the rest of it as we go. That's like saying, here, give me the $30,000 for the car now, and then in next year we'll have it all fully built for you. No one would do that. So why does the video game world think they can do that? And I get it for like indie titles or smaller stuff, but I don't like the smaller stuff. I certainly don't want it in my AAA. So
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
It
You guys
depends. To me, it depends what the release schedule is. I mean, maybe they were really wanting to release like 3 missions at the very beginning or something like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to play it, and it depends what you mean as a success, because if everybody holds off to buy it until it's all done and all released, then so be it. Like, I don't have to play it today. I'll wait until there's 5, 6, 7, 10 episodes, or when they're finished with it. And if when they're finished with it, it's still 60, then I'll buy it for 60. If when they're finished with it and it's 25, then I'll buy it at 25. And maybe they'll learn their lesson based on that. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I was very surprised that it was just what it was at the very beginning. I thought it was going to be more. I thought you were going to get, a good 3-4 hours out of it, for the initial release, and then more after that. But, one or 2 missions and the training. And then if they're not releasing an update until the next month, I think it's like once a month or something like that. Maybe they should have just upped their release speed or something like that. But yeah. Cool. Is that all?
Right.
Is that everything?
That's it. Yeah.
All right.
Rob, did you ever think of your other thing that you wanted to say about VR? I think he's muted.
Yeah.
But looked like he said nope.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I was muted.
All right.
All right. So, why is okay? So cafepress.com/this Xbox Life is where you can buy any cool community gear, per se. So head out there while you still can. If you want to be a part of the community and get your name or voice in the show, we had a new follower today. So if you go to thisxboxlife.com, you can, on the right hand side, say send voicemail. That'll send it to us, and we will put it in the show and answer your question. Or you can send us a question, on thisxboxlife.com, or you can email us directly at contact@thisxboxlife.com. We also have a Twitter account, twitter.com/thisxboxlife, and our main area where we all communicate, the community and everything. Some of them are here with us today. Is facebook.com/groups/thisxboxlife. So it is a closed group. We'll just take a look at your profile, see what's going on there, and then accept you in. So no questions or emails or anything this week. We have to figure out what we want to do for FNL on 4/1. So let us know. And also let us know if you're going to show up.
Yeah, only let us know if you plan to be there.
Yeah, if you're going to
otherwise
show up
you just show up and see what we're playing.
I'm for doing Rocket League again because that game is so much fun to play when everybody's around. So I'll put out Rocket League, and then if people come and play, and then we decide on a new game, then we'll do that. But Rocket League's my vote. If anybody wants to jump in there, I got my Batmobile. So, but Rob, time to earn your money. There's some games that came out this week, which is also why I named the show what I did. And you'll find out why. It is title, subtitle, and other things. So, have at it.
Okay. All right. So this coming week for Xbox One, we have Killer Instinct Season 3, Minecraft Story Mode Episode number 5, Order Up.
Oh, wait, nope. Reread that one. Minecraft, Story Mode, Episode 5, Order Up.
Okay.
So how many colons do
you did a good job.
Thank you. Next one.
It's got more colons than us. Anyway, The Walking Dead, Michonne, Episode 2, Give No Shelter.
Yeah.
Then Resident Evil 6, Alive Soccer 2DX is coming out on the 30th. Griffin Knight Epic on the 30th also. And then Organic Panic on Friday, April Fool's Day. For 360, we have Minecraft Story Mode, Episode 5, Order Up. And The Walking Dead, Michonne, Episode 2, Give No Shelter. Also, as I just mentioned, Friday is April 1st, also April Fool's Day. But the thing that's not an April Fool is the Games with Gold, since that will be changing up on Friday. We have, for the Xbox One, The Wolf Among Us, starting up on April 1st. And for the Xbox 360, we have Dead Space coming out on April 1st. So that's the Games with Gold. Then if you're looking for more games and you like the retail variety, you can pick those up on Amazon. And if you do, please make sure to use our affiliate link. You can find that on our website by going to thisxboxlife.com and then just click on the big Amazon logo on the top right of the page. It'll take you to Amazon. Won't cost you anything extra. We get a teeny tiny portion of the sale as a finder's fee for sending you their way, and make sure to use that each and every time that you make your purchases on Amazon, because then that way you can get your cool stuff and support your favorite podcast. And also another thing you can do for us is to go to iTunes, find us in the store, and give us a 5-star rating on there. Just give us a little review, and then the more 5-star ratings that we get, the higher up we go in the rankings on there, and we become a featured show. So please do that. It definitely helps us out. And that is all.
All right. That's all I got as well. Mark, do you have anything else?
I'm out.
All right.
Good.
So thanks everybody for joining us. MP3 will be out. Yeah. Well, if you're listening, so you already know the MP3's out. Scratch what I just said. We'll be back next week. So except for Mark. Mark will be out next week. So it'll be the very outspoken Rob and myself. So all right. Everybody. Yep. Enjoy. Happy Easter again. I'm Bro and BJ Spick 33.
Happy Easter. Number 1. This is Rob Austin as Prestar. Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch y'all next week.
I'm Mark, a.k.a. Wingman709, taking off.